and welcome. If you're getting ready for your NHA Certified Phlebotomy Technician exam, you are in the perfect spot. We're going to break down one of the most important topics you'll face, infection control. So let's get right into it. We're kicking things off with a huge warning, and this comes straight from your exam material. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is thinking a patient is low risk. In your world as a phlebotomist, there's no such thing. Getting this mindset right is everything. It's how you'll pass your test, and it's how you'll keep yourself and everyone else safe. So here's our game plan. We're going to follow this idea of a ripple effect. We'll start small with your own actions, then see how those actions can break the chain of infection. From there, we'll zoom out to protecting the whole healthcare facility, and then even bigger, to your role in global health. And of course, we'll finish up with a crash course on the must-know facts for exam day. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Where does safety start? It starts with you. Every single thing you do, from washing your hands to putting a label on a tube, that's the first ripple in the water, the first step in stopping infections before they can even start. This right here, this is the golden rule. You have to live by this. It's called standard precautions, and it's a policy set by major players like the CDC and OSHA. It means you treat every single patient sample like it's infectious. It's not just a suggestion, it's a non-negotiable part of the job and your #1 defense. Now, let's see how that one rule fits into the bigger picture. You know, germs don't just spread randomly. They follow a very specific path, and we call that the chain of infection. Your job is to be a chain breaker. Here are the 6 links in that chain. You've got the germ itself, where it lives, how it gets out, how it travels, how it gets in, and finally, someone who can get sick. But here's the really cool part. You don't have to break all 6 links. Break just one of them, any one, and the infection stops right in its tracks. Out of all those links, the one you can control the most is this one, the mode of transmission. It's just a fancy way of saying how the germ gets from one place to another. Is it on your hands, in a sneeze, floating in the air? This is your sweet spot where you can make the biggest difference. And what's the #1 way to do it? It's right here. This is a huge exam takeaway. If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Proper hand hygiene is the single most important thing you can do to break that chain of infection. It literally stops germs in their tracks. Okay, so we've talked about how infections spread. Now let's get into the what. This is all about knowing your enemy, matching the specific germ to the specific gear you need to wear. You're definitely going to see questions about this on your exam. So let's put it in a real-world scenario. Imagine an exam question. You see a patient's room has an isolation sign on the door because of a known infection. What do? Well, the answer comes from knowing exactly how that specific bug travels. And here's your cheat sheet. Honestly, for the test, this is something you just have to memorize. If it's airborne, like TB, you need that tight-fitting N95 respirator. If it's spread by droplets, like the flu, a surgical mask is what you need. For germs that spread by touch, like MRSA, you'll need a gown and gloves. And for bloodborne pathogens, your best defense is always using sharp safety devices correctly. All right, let's zoom out again. Your job isn't just about protecting yourself in one-on-one interactions. Your actions protect everyone in the entire facility from what we call healthcare-associated infections, or HAIs. And this number really shows you why that's so important. On any given day in an American hospital, about 1 out of every 31 patients has an infection they got after they were admitted. That's a staggering number, and your careful work is a huge part of bringing it down. Now, here's a super important detail about HAIs, and it's a classic exam question. When it comes to a nasty bug called C. difficile, that alcohol hand sanitizer you love is basically useless. C. diff makes these tough little spores that alcohol can't kill, so you have to use good old soap and water to physically scrub them off your hands. For almost everything else, alcohol rub is fine. You need to know that difference. And now for that final biggest ripple. It might sound crazy, but the work you do every single day has a global impact. You are on the front lines of tracking diseases all over the world. To really get it, you've got to know the lingo. An endemic disease is one that's just always around in a certain area. An epidemic is when there's a sudden spike in cases in one region. And a pandemic? That's when it goes global, crossing continents. Your exam will definitely expect you to know what these mean. So how does your daily grind connect to all that? It's simple, really. It's in the basics. When scientists and doctors are tracking a new superbug or a new strain of the flu, What do they need? They need the blood samples you collect. A clean draw, a perfect label, and getting that tube to the lab fast, that is how you contribute to the global fight against disease. All right, let's bring it all home. We have covered a lot. Think of this as your final rapid-fire review. These are the absolute must-know concepts for you to walk into that NHA exam with confidence. Here we go. Number 1, know the difference between standard precautions, which you use on everybody, and transmission-based precautions for specific known infections. Number 2, be able to match the bug to how it travels and what PPE you need, just like on our chart. 3, have those 6 links of the infection chain memorized. 4, don't forget the C. diff rule, soap and water, not alcohol. And 5, know that OSHA says your job has to offer you the hepatitis B vaccine for free. And let's get really specific on that last point because you know exams love the details. After you get your Hep B shots, you'll get a blood test to prove it worked. The magic number you need to remember is 10. A result of 10 or higher means you have enough antibodies to be considered protected. So I'll leave you with one last question to lock this all in. After all of this, the N95s, the gowns, the safety needles, all of it, what is the one simple action that prevents more infections than anything else? It's proper, thorough hand hygiene. Never, ever forget that. Good luck on your exam. You've got this.